Now, when it comes to judging people on their looks, we only ever do that when we're out and about dating, I hope. 6 out of 10 is apparently the new sexy, a single's favourite realism over perfection. Somebody who herself is both perfection and keeping it real is Alix Fox, who joins me now. How you doing?
Jason, you flatter me so much that I feel like you may have been a steamroller in a previous life. But thanks
Oh,
for having me on today.
well, good to talk to you. And I mean, you're a dating expert, writer, and broadcaster, and working alongside the team at Plenty of Fish. And it's been a little while since we've had a catch up, but there are still plenty of people out there who are looking for Mr. or Mrs. Right.
Indeed, there are, and I have really brilliant news for them. This latest research from Plenty of Fish really is so uplifting that you could compare it to a massive bouquet of helium balloons. We've found out that there's actually a really big disconnect between what people imagine other singletons are looking for and what they actually want. And it's really in the favour of the average Joe. If you're just a standard, solid kind of 6 out of 10 person, which most of us are, then it could be a really hot summer for you, because we've discovered that around 81% of daters are just looking for somebody who's approachable, down to earth, standard. Yeah, just that 6 out of 10. But on the flip side, over half of singletons still perceive themselves as having to be a perfect 10 in order to be someone's number one. So the message really here is if you think you're average, you're likely not to be falling short. You're actually exactly what people are looking for to fall in love with.
Yeah, 'cause I mean, if you are looking at 10 and sometimes even in 11, it is quite
I'm
tricky.
very loud. I'm a volume 11 at least, Jason.
Yeah, but people do think, jealousy can be a problem, and if your partner, everyone's always looking at them rather than just seeing you two and thinking they make a nice couple. It can cause people to have concerns in the relationship, which there may be no grounds for, but still it does make you feel uncomfortable.
Yes, I think if you're dating somebody who is a superhuman, super marathon running, supermodel type, then yes, you may feel a little bit vulnerable. There might be issues with jealousy. I'm sure that it's very possible to have a spectacular relationship with someone, a human being who's that close to being godlike. But the point really here is that lots of people have quite low self-esteem because they believe that they need to be more than they are. They just don't feel that they're currently enough to find somebody who will make their day and whose day they can make in return. And in fact, the reality is very different. We found out that the stuff that singles are really looking for is down to earth things like sharing hobbies and interests,
Mhm.
having values in common, a decent sense of humor. Those things were all, in the majority, much more popular and much more readily sought out than perfectly preened, polished selfies that would give Mr. Sheen a run for his money, or washboard abs. Only 16 and 9% of people, respectively, were actually looking for those things.
So, it is about finding the person that's right for you, and you've got to get on. It's about conversation, and I know your tips
Uh-huh.
include things like adding, a drop of color to your world, to avoiding being a show off because it's a bit of a turn off. Well, and what else have you got there? That are the top tips we should be taking into account.
Well, it is still the truth that people do judge when they're looking through dating apps. They do judge on profile pictures. Around 7 out of 10 people will admit that they've seen a snap and decided, oh, hello, or absolutely no, just based on that picture. However, they're not necessarily looking for outstanding physiques or model looks. What they are looking for are people that they can relate to, but you still want to make that photograph look like the true you, but the best version of yourself. If you use color, then that can help photographs to stand out when people are scrolling through. The mistake a lot of singletons make, though, is they interpret that as meaning that they've got to wear the wackiest thing in their wardrobe, their loudest shirt, or their most ostentatious prom dress. And for some folks, that's just not what they really feel comfy in or what they would be seen in day to day. They're more of like a all black all day kind of goth type, or a neutrals kind of person. So a more natural way of adding color to your photographs, if that's you, is to seek out a vibrant background. And I actually recommend that you rope in a friend, and go on a little photo forage, if you will, where you look around town or wherever's close to you and seek out these fun backgrounds. It means that you also get to have a great few hours or a day with a mate, which is always a good thing. And on your travels, you may well find somewhere that's a good spot for a date when you find someone on Plenty of Fish.
So, yeah, lots of ways of finding the person who could well become the love of your life, and I think that's what you're looking for. It's the love, it's the cuddles, it's the affection, the you time, and that's what will make a relationship. And yeah, you maybe want someone to make sure they're presenting themselves well, but as you say, present what you have. That make sure you're clean, fresh, happy, and all that sort of stuff. But it doesn't have to be, as you say, the perfect physique because it's very difficult to maintain these things. You can start off, with your washboard abs, but before you know it, a bit of comfort and home cooking that can disappear quickly.
Jason, you're bang on. Um, one of the few constants in this life is change, isn't it? If you are looking for a long-term relationship, then starting out with that openness and honesty and acceptance of someone's authentic self sets you up in a better position for the long haul, I think.
So, what do people do then from here? I mean, do they need to do a complete revamp of their profiles if they're looking for love at the moment?
No, I think maybe just checking in with yourself and thinking, is the profile that I've set up really true to me? Is it an honest representation of who I am and what I'm looking for? Or am I one of these people that's fallen into this trap? Like 53% of folks who are in this survey who think that they ought to present a more glossy version of themselves in order to impress. I can very much understand why some people feel that they might need to exaggerate their plus points. As you say, you do need to put your best foot forward. I think there is a key difference though between wanting somebody to accept your best self and take you as you are versus not putting any effort in and just expecting someone to take you on. And another key difference that I probably need to underline about this research is that we're not asking anybody by saying average is wonderful. We're not saying you should settle for somebody who's not worthy of you. We're not saying, look, just plump for someone paltry and put up with it. We're not asking anyone to lower their standards here. We are asking people to raise their self-esteem and believe in themselves a little bit more than perhaps they currently do.
So get yourself together, get those backdrops, have a wander around with that camera phone and grab some fantastic snaps when you're out and about with your mates. And before you know it, you could be adding that extra person to the group when you go out to the pub, and they could be the one who you want to just dine with for the rest of your life. Sounds absolutely fab. Where do you go for more information and get more of your dating tips, please?
If you want to toddle over to POF.com, stands for plentyoffish.com, then there's loads more information there about this survey, loads of tips on dating, on safety, on presenting yourself the best that you can be, and yeah, keeping dating fun and authentic.
Well, Alex Fox, have a brilliant time sharing your tips and getting people into relationships. Dating expert, writer, and broadcaster. Thanks again.
It's been a pleasure. I just got engaged, by the way, to somebody I gave dating tips to. So fingers crossed other listeners can have the same result.
Clearly, it works for you. Thanks again.
A pleasure.